It's the birthday edition of The James Show, and I've been soliciting advice. Anyone who's older than me, I would like to hear your advice for a 48-year-old. You've done this before. I haven't. I will defer to your wisdom in this scenario. And a couple of caveats here. I've gotten dozens of emails and Facebook messages already. I know you mean it, and it's great advice, and I already know this. But everyone's saying, hug your kids. Don't hold and appreciate your kids while they're this age as much as possible. They'll be grown before you know it. Oh, I already know that. I already do that. I'm not saying it's bad advice. I don't mind getting it. But when 40 people have already told me, I got it. I can't do that for the whole last segment of the show. So that's what's going to be the last segment of the show. In about 30 minutes, you're going to hear the one and only time every year I have permission to lecture you. It's not going to be all good stuff that you like, but I will just say the ugly stuff once and then you'll never have to hear it again. And I only take advantage of this because it's my birthday and I think you'll give me a little bit of grace. Now for my next story, I love this story. I hope you never forget this story because there's so many lessons in here. Now it's hilarious, but there are lessons to be had. So there's a guy and he's 50 years old. He's an ex-convict. Spent a little time in the slammer. I'm not here to judge. He paid his debts to society. He's gotten out. I guess he's living a pretty good life here because he's in some suburb of Lexington, Kentucky that you never heard of. And on April 26th of this year, he won the Powerball. $167 million. It was
$1,400,600 billion.
No, 167 million.
150 million.
Yeah, close enough. So what does he do? His name is James, by the way. And no, it's not me, although he kind of looks like me. 50 years old, ex-con named James. Why do I look so generic? Anyway, he has a 42-year-old girlfriend, and they go and they pick up the check about a week later. So then they decide, well, let's go party. They go to where? Here's your first mistake. Florida. This is where it's going to go bad here. You take an ex-con Kentucky native, you give him $167 million and say, hey, go nuts. Guess what he's going to do? Go nuts. He goes to St. Petersburg, and at St. Pete Beach, there's the Trade Winds Resort, something you and I could never afford, and he could never afford it up until, a little over a week ago. So he's at this resort with his girlfriend, and you're going to think I'm making this up. Her name's Jacqueline Fightmaster. Jacqueline Fightmaster. What is that, her Pokemon name? Is that her UFC name? Is that her pen name? No, according to the Smoking Gun, her real last name, Fightmaster. Just the two words, fight and master, but portmanteaued together. They're just one compound word there. That's her name. And guess what they did? They got into a fight. Isn't that beautiful? You knew they were going to. So, just one day after posting the check, the big, dumb, oversized check, you see James, a 50-year-old ex-con with his 42-year-old girlfriend, who does not look 42, actually. By the way, you're doing well, James. You could probably do a little better now that you're worth $167 million, but she looks like she's 30. She's in great shape. And then there's his 77-year-old mother that's in the picture with him. A day after posting that oversized jackpot winner check, he's down in St. Pete, punched a male victim in the face during an argument at the Trade Winds Resort. When the sheriff's deputy came over to break it up, there was an active fight between him and another person. The deputy also noticed that the girlfriend was trying to fight some other people who were in the same lounge, or fight the other patrons at the bar. Who talks like that? So, yeah, can you believe Jacqueline Fightmaster and her 50-year-old ex-con Kentucky boyfriend got in trouble within hours after collecting $167 million in the jackpot? I wonder if they'll be able to make bail. This is Tony in Oklahoma. You're on the James Show. What you got?
Yeah, James, I just turned 64 2 days ago.
Oh, well, then I want to talk to you. What advice would you give a 48-year-old, sir?
I would tell you enjoy the next 10 years because it's going to start hurting after that.
Well, that's not very optimistic, sir. Are you talking about like health, like your joints and arthritis and whatnot?
Exactly, yeah.
That's one of the things I'm most scared of because I consider myself a musician of some sort. Not professional, obviously, because I'm doing this. But Like, if I get arthritis, I'm not going to be able to play piano anymore. I watched my grandmother not be able to play piano. She was better than I am. And when she got arthritis, she could kind of grind it out for a while. But by the end, she couldn't play anymore. I also play guitar. I won't be able to do that anymore. And that's going to break my heart. Thanks for ruining it for me, but I'll appreciate it a little more now in the meantime.
Okay, man. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you, Tony in Oklahoma. Sad news, but it's news I need to hear. I'll take grown-up advice, because I'm going to be giving grown-up advice in about 20 minutes here. It's a special day on the James Show because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's your birthday. Go Birdie. It's your birthday. Go Birdie. It's your birthday. Go Anna. Thank you, Luther Campbell. So on my birthday, I asked for your grace for one segment out of one show, one day in the entire year where I'm going to lecture you. You're like, James, don't you lecture me every day? Not like this. Not like this. Because I'm going to tell you some hard truths that you're not going to like. And if I did this every day, it'd probably tank the ratings. But I feel like I need to tell you this at least once a year. And that is, stop being so damn lazy. That's where it starts. You're like, James, I'm not a lazy person. I'm not attacking you. Let your guard down. Stop being so defensive. I'm trying to counter this prevailing lie that it's just huge in our culture about how you just need to be yourself. Just being you is good enough. That's terrible, terrible advice. It's beautiful to just be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You just need to accept yourself. No, that is not how the world works. People who are telling you that are not doing you any favors. In fact, they're doing you a huge disservice. You may be a fine person. You may be a good person. You may be a great person. But you can always be better. Number one, how many people who are telling you this? How many people who are out there just saying, you should just be accepted the way you are? How many of these people are the weakest version of themselves possible? Now, what do you mean by that? Well, how do you be the strongest version of yourself possible? You work out until your body fails. So however long that takes, every day. You work out until you can bench press 500 pounds and you can squat 800 pounds and you got veins sticking out of your forehead. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not even asking you to get ripped or get in good shape. The converse to that is, how do you be the weakest version of yourself possible? Never work out. Never lift weights. Never go jogging. Never run up the stairs. Always take the elevator. Always drive. Don't walk. Park as close as you can to the store. Do you do that? Because a lot of people do. And I do that quite a bit in my life, but sprinkle in something. All I'm asking you to do is something. And there's all the excuses in the world, like, James, I don't have time to work out, or James, I don't have access to workout facilities, or James, that's a luxury of the affluent. No, it's not. No, it's not. Anybody can just get down and do push-ups right now, unless you have some weird disability, which this exempts you. If you're disabled or if you're handicapped, I get it. I'm not talking to you at all. But if you still have the physical ability to work out, you should. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You could just do push-ups until you can't do push-ups anymore. Watch, it'll take about 26 seconds. You got time to do that? You don't need any sort of equipment. You don't need any special shoes. You don't need a gym membership. You don't even need good weather. Just get on the floor and do push-ups right now. See, you could do it, but you don't. It's like, well, James, I'm way past that phase of life. You could walk. So physically speaking, don't be the weakest version of yourself possible. Mentally speaking, don't be the dumbest version of yourself possible. Yeah, I know you watch a lot of Netflix. I do too. But sprinkle in some documentaries at least. Don't just watch dumb stuff. If you do read, I think most people lie about reading. Like, if you took a survey of how many people, do you read on a regular basis? I bet you 90% of people would say yes, but really only about 10% of people really read books or something educational on a regular basis. And if you are going to read books, don't read romance novels. I mean, you can sprinkle them in there, but read smart stuff too. But what do you have to do to be the dumbest version of yourself possible? Never read a book, or if you do read a book, make sure it's a shallow book that doesn't teach you anything. Never watch anything intelligent on TV. Just watch Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. And these are great shows, and I've watched them too. I love Seinfeld. But you don't get any smarter from it. Watch some documentaries. Learn a little bit. Learn a little bit about, you've always wanted to know more about the Bible or Roman history, or there's something you're interested in. There's got to be at least one thing that you're interested in. Pursue that. Become an expert at something. You have all the knowledge. With the internet being invented and you have a smartphone in your pocket, you have all the knowledge that is accumulated throughout all of mankind's history at your fingertips. The only excuse for you not knowing it is because you actively choose to avoid that. Stop doing that. Number 3, don't be the least talented version of yourself possible. You know, when my mom retired, I put her on the spot. She told me when she was growing up that she always wished she had learned how to play piano. And she wished her parents had made her go to piano lessons when she was a kid. So she made me and my sister go to piano lessons when we were kids. And I can play piano now and she can. But when she retired, I went on Facebook Marketplace. I found her piano. I got it and I dropped it off at her house. You got all the time in the world now, Ma. You going to learn piano? You know, especially for you retired people, learn an instrument while your fingers still work. So don't be the least talented version of yourself possible. I know it's going to be terrible, the process of becoming fluent in an instrument. You're going to play piano for months. That's going to be unlistenable before you can do your first song that's going to entertain an entire room. But when you do that, it will all be worthwhile. You can always be a better version of yourself. So that was, you know, your mind, your soul, you know, the talent, your body. But one more thing, don't be the most boring version of yourself possible. Do you know jokes? Can you do public speaking? Can you entertain a room? And look, this is easy for me to say because this is my job and I've always been this guy. So this is an easy one for me. But I'm floored by people who don't want to speak in public, who if you ask them to go speak in front of the church, they would pass it up. Or do you want to do the sales presentation or let someone else on your team do it? So there's the law of conservation of disappointment. There's a lot of people that follow this, including Nick Saban. Either you're going to be disappointed by your preparation or you're going to be disappointed by your failure. Either you're going to be disappointed by the frustrating process it takes to do piano lessons or to teach yourself guitar or to go exercise or to read a boring book. So yeah, you'll be disappointed in that process, or you're going to be disappointed when there's a party and you don't know how to play piano or guitar, or you don't know how to have an interesting conversation, or you sound dumb, or you don't know things that you could know, or you are out of weight or overweight, I should say, right? There's the disappointment. There's the pain. There's the struggle. There's the suffering that comes with exercising, or there's the suffering that comes when you have to take your shirt off in front of your significant other. Which one are you going to be disappointed by? Which one is more painful for you? Because this should never end. You're never perfect. You're never done getting better. You're never there. You're never the smartest you can be. You're never the most talented you can be. You're never the strongest you can be. And listen, there will be plenty of time to rest when you're dead. In between now, learn a new instrument. Learn a new language. Learn a new sport. Maybe pick up pickleball. Learn how to paint. Learn how to sculpt. Learn how to code. Maybe you should take it a step further. The real winners won't just consume books. They will write books. The real winners won't just learn how to play an instrument. Like regular people listen to music. Better people can play music. The best people can write music. Have you ever written a song? Well, I don't think you've had the full complement of the human experience unless you've done these things, unless you've written a book, unless you've written a song, unless you've made a painting or a sculpture or coded a game or an app or a program. And last, I think this is kind of overrated, but so many other people say good things about it. Maybe travel, but whatever your goal is, pick it, pursue it, and go hard. Fail 1,000 times over and just keep going. Your life's not over until it's over. So act like it. Eileen in Allen, what's your birthday advice for me, Eileen?
Happy birthday, and many more. Embrace change. Unless you embrace change, you can't learn how to play that piano. You can't see yourself change and improve, and also live every day as in a passionate way of loving yourself. And then last but not least, forgive yourself. If you mess up, don't worry about it. You got another new minute coming. You got another new day. That'd be my best advice for your birthday.
Yeah, I'm so bad at that last part, though. I don't forgive myself. I still cringe when I think about dumb things I did when I was 22.
I know. And then the most importantly, gratitude. I promise that is the healthiest vitamin you can do every day.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that either. So I guess I need to hear that. When you talk about change, that didn't sound very hypothetical. What was your big changes?
I think for me, when I realized I had some areas pretty stubborn to change, and I think for me was the word consistently. I would do it for 1 or 2 weeks, and I'd go bad, and I wouldn't do it. And so for me, change really came about for me when I was consistent.
Understood. I appreciate the advice, Eileen. Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too. Guy in Dallas, you're on the James Show. What's your birthday advice?
Hello, young man. Yes, my advice is I got 4 kids like you do. Been married almost 33 years. I got to tell you 2 things. Play with your kids while you still can, because when they get older, they're not going to be able to have so much fun with you. So you got young kids still. Keep playing with them, all kinds of games, whenever you can. And secondly, date your wife. Never stop. Always, if you can't remember the last time you took your wife out on a date, then that's time you need to go and do it. So that's it.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Guy. Well, see, now I take my wife on regular dates, but it's not because I'm a great guy. You know how people say, well, you're just thinking with the wrong brain. No, maybe I'm thinking with the right brain, because that brain tells me you need to wine and dine her. Why? Well, because you'd probably get, a little more of that kind of attention. If you were a little more romantic, you could have a little more romantic results. But it's also like the main reason I stay in shape and I exercise. It's like, look, is that fun for me? No, but what would Miss Parker rather me do? Would I get more attention in the right kind of way from Miss Parker if I was in better shape? Well, yeah. All of a sudden, I don't mind getting under some heavy weights. Oh no, it's one of the reasons. Like I maintain some semblance of musicality and entertainment and going out and doing fun things and traveling and stuff. It's because that gets me more action. I can't really say anything. But let me read you some of the ones I've been getting during the show, because people have been sending me emails since the show started at 2 o'clock. This is Nancy in Fort Worth. Never take things for granted. My husband thought we would never have kids, and then we had 3 kids and life was great. When he turned 48, guess what? We had another kid. Our large family is wonderful. Brian in Hurst, I'm 52. He says, do not eat Mexican food the night before your first colonoscopy. What kind of advice is that? I think you're not supposed to eat anything before your first colonoscopy, but don't worry, I'm not going to get a colonoscopy. I think that's just a trick. They're like, well, when you're 50 years old, you have to. Nope, not doing it. Maybe Miss Parker can give me a colonoscopy, or if I am ever going to get one, it's because I'm bleeding out of my backside and they think I have cancer and we've got to do something now. And even then, the doctor better be beautiful. Sylvia says, enjoy each day. Find the little things to thank God for. Love those kiddos and spend as much time with them as you can. John says, it's better to be the oldest at the gym than the youngest in the nursing home. Ooh, that's a good one, John. Another Laura says, as you celebrate this special day, I want to take a moment to reflect on the wonderful journey ahead. Your children are growing up so quickly, and soon you'll find more time to spend with your lovely wife. Cherish these moments with your kids, but also look forward to the beautiful times with you and your wife. So there's another kid one. Here's another Lisa. My advice to you as someone north of 60, review and plan for retirement regularly and be prepared as your health deteriorates. Ooh, a financial piece of wisdom. David says, I'm 62, and in your next 14 years, you realize it's not arthritis, it's early onset rigor mortis. And then he also says, spend all the time you can with your kids now. David says, I'm 53. I wish I would have gotten in shape earlier. You need to be doing yearly checkups with the doctor, and at your age, a colonoscopy. What's with the colonoscopy thing? Stop it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to a doctor. I'm not sticking anything. Diane says, happy birthday. Listen to your radio show. You asked for advice. I'm a 63-year-old woman. What I wish I was realized when I was 48, if you don't already do this, develop a habit of intentional exercise. So there you go. A lot of hanging out with the kids. Enjoy it while you can. A lot of working out. And too much with the colonoscopy stuff, guys. Do we tell women that? Do they have to do that too? Or is that just dudes? All right, thank you very much for being part of the birthday show. Mark Levin's coming up next. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.